Hi there, my name is Steve Gearhart, and as always, this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the channel. This is a labor of love for me, so I'm glad that you're here watching it. This week, we're going to do an actual anime review, and one that's fairly recent, Lazarus. So, why don't we just go ahead and get right into it? So, as some of you may know, I am part of a group that does the Otaku station over on the Anime Archaeology YouTube channel. And we go into deep dives on stuff on anime over there. And we also do anime seasonal watches. So, when the new season comes up with the new anime, we watch the first episode of each new anime that we see there. And of course, the last time we did this, or the time before, was Lazarus. So this would have been back in April, spring season, I believe. And Lazarus had a lot of fanfare behind it for a lot of good reasons. So when we watched the first episode, we only have time to watch the one episode before we have to move on. And our initial reaction to it on the first episode was, it's not bad, but it's not great either. And our initial reaction was kind of like, how do we do a show that says it isn't Cowboy Bebop, but do a show that's Cowboy Bebop, basically? So for those of you who don't know, Lazarus is the most current effort made by Shinichiro Watanabe, who was the creator of Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo and a whole slew of other really good anime. So the other day I decided, well, I haven't really watched past episode 1. So I decided I was going to do a review and I was going to give it the 3-episode treatment. For those of you that don't know what that means, is that I simply watch 3 episodes of an anime that I want to review that I don't really know anything about, that much about. And 3 episodes I feel gives me enough meat to do a review, to give me an idea of tone, characters, and where the story might be going, that kind of a thing. So I can give you a decent review and say, hey, this might be something worth continuing to watch. So I decided to do that with Lazarus. Like I said, we weren't completely hooked into it like we would normally be with a Watanabe anime, because Watanabe has really good stories. Animation, of course, is really usually pretty good, and the music is killer. His music, he's got great taste in music and musicians. Remember, Yoko Kanno did the OST one album for Cowboy Bebop. So anyway, even though I wasn't really that impressed with the first episode, I understood that it was just the first episode. So, maybe I need to watch a couple more, because sometimes anime can be a slow burn, right? And then, like the first episode might be, okay. But things might ramp up and you might be going, oh, okay, this is actually quite good. So I wanted to give it that treatment and go forward and give it an honest review. So let's go first over some of the particulars, okay? Again, directed, written by Shinichiro Watanabe. Mappa did most of the animation here. It's kind of quite obvious, actually. Sola, is that Sola Entertainment? Kind of did some of the other production stuff. There's a lot of CGI in this. It's 13 episodes, so this is a bingeable anime, so you can sit down over a weekend and plow through it if you wanted to. Some of the interesting things that should be noted about this is that the name of each episode is in reference to either a play, a musical piece, a work of fiction, something that was written in the late 20th century. Again, the music is pretty good. In this one, he actually got the Boo Radleys in there. For those of you probably don't know the Boo Radleys, but they had done a cover called "There She Goes," and it was on the So I Married an Axe Murderer soundtrack. Really great, funny movie, by the way. So they've been around for a while, and they've done the ending theme for Lazarus. They also got Boncho, Jacob Lusk, Bonobo, Nicole McGillis, and a whole bunch of other people to do the music. So it's really quite again, the music is quite killer. So if nothing else, enjoy the music of Lazarus. It is quite good. Something of note, also of personal note for me for Lazarus. One of the characters, Skinner, who is I'll get into the plot in a moment, who's the guy that they're looking for. When they bring up his Wikipedia page on the anime, it shows his birthday as June 11th. That's my birthday. Same birthday as the man who tried to murder the world. Anyway, I'll get to that in a moment. So there is, as we can see here, a lot of quality effort going into this anime. So that is to be noted. Excuse me. So as we watch this, as I explain the plot to you, just keep that in mind. There's a lot of good quality behind this. So the overall plot is that this guy Skinner, he's a genius doctor, a philanthropist. He's trying to fight climate change. By the way, this is taking place in like 2040 or later, somewhere around there. It's kind of just beyond us in the future. Okay, and he makes this medicine called Hapna. And Hapna is this kind of wonder drug that makes people feel good. It kind of cures a lot of stuff, or it alleviates a lot of symptoms. It helps you mentally. You get a little pick-me-up. There's not a whole lot of downside to it. And pretty much the entire human race has taken this drug, this particular drug. And so for 3 years, everyone's just like kind of going, hey, we're living the good life. Skinner, right before he goes missing, puts out a communique to the world and says, by the way, I've poisoned you with this medicine and you've got 30 days to live. What are you going to do? Bye, see ya, peace out. So the world's going to die in 30 days. All the human beings on the face of the earth are supposed to die in about 30 days. And, this is Skinner's thing. This is, nobody knows why he did it. Nobody knows what his motivations are or anything like that just yet. And so various organizations are trying to find him, to get him, and hopefully coax out a treatment, a cure for what's going to happen. Doctors are going, yes, it's mutating to something that's going to kill us, and if you have used this drug, you're going to die. So the majority of humanity is going to die. A team collected by an unknown individual who is almost like Charlie's Angels. A team is created with this woman who's kind of the go-between to this organization and these people that she's collecting. They all have a certain set of skills and to contribute to the team. And also they have some past that they have to deal with, usually a little bit on the criminal side or whatever. And so, they get the little bracelet, that kills them if they try to do anything bad, wrong, whatever, almost like Suicide Squad. And their collection of skills are brought together to find Dr. Skinner. And the group is called Lazarus. So the first episode, which we were not too keen on, that we enjoyed watching it, but it wasn't, there was no hook, so to speak. And it was really about getting the band together. So, we got each of the individual pieces in play. We have a hacker, right? A introverted hacker. We have a youngish con man who's able to get in anywhere. We have a Fujiko / Faye Valentine-esque femme fatale who says that she's a secret agent. We have a large African-American man who is kind of like, obviously supposed to be Jet, right, from Cowboy Bebop. And then we have Axel, who is not supposed to be Spike, but is definitely Spike. Okay. So the band is brought together in the first episode, and we see their skills, their skill set, and we get an idea of who they are. Second and third episodes start the actual story. The story actually starts in the second episode. And in that, we start to see the team go out into the world to try to find Skinner. They start chasing down leads and things like that, and we get an idea, better idea of who is what. I went to jail for this. I'm a secret agent person that's gone on the bad side of the law. I was kicked out of the university because I did some unethical thing. Axel is basically, I've been escaping out of prisons because it's a hobby of mine, and therefore I have a sentence of like 348 years or something like that. And so they're all going out and doing the thing on the backdrop of a world that has not actually de-evolved into chaos just yet. They have 30 days, and so it's not like Paris is burning or anything. People are just like, oh crap, I'm going to die in 30 days. What do I do? So there's no, like, what you might see of just like, people going, I only have 30 days left to live, no consequences. So, they do stuff, right? No, not in this world. Everything's still pretty orderly. And so they're going through trying to chase down the leads and trying to find Dr. Skinner. It is a procedural at this point, kind of. And so we get a lot of talking. We get a lot of exposition. Again, learning a little bit more about the characters. How some of them don't really like each other. We're trying to make the big whoop of, they don't like each other, but they have to work each other, but we know they're going to be friends in the end, kind of thing. And there is action, and it's almost always centered around Axel, who does all the acrobatic things because, he's not really Spike, but it's Spike. Okay, it's that. This is what it is. Now, this is 3 episodes, and that's all the plot that I've got to give you. They go to a homeless camp to find out some information. They go to see the guy's grandmother for some information. Keep in mind, this is only 13 episodes long, so this is not like a 42 bounty per episode kind of thing. This is the one thing that they're doing, and it's not interesting. But if you want shonen, not really getting it right now. Maybe that'll change in future episodes, but right now this is more Ghost in the Shell of talky exposition. Why are things happening? What are motivations and things like that. You can tell that I'm a little about it. So that's where we are with the plot, such as it is. World's going to die in 30 days. All human beings are going to die in 30 days. You were looking for Dr. Skinner to find a cure. And we're starting to see interesting things that we know are going to be part of the puzzle, right? We come across a plant at one point where we see it once in each episode. And we're like, okay. So should you watch this anime? I'm just going to go ahead and cut to it because I feel like I'm kind of rambling on over the same territory here. Sure. You can tell by my lack of enthusiasm that this is something, unfortunately, that if you don't ever see it, I think that's okay. And the reason why I say that's unfortunate is because this is Shinichiro Watanabe, who normally makes really good stuff, right? Really good, interesting stories and stuff like that. I'm 3 episodes in, and I'm kind of like, I am curious to see how this pans out, right? But there's other things I can be watching. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think instead of burning through 13 episodes because I really want to know what's happening, I think I'll eventually get through 13 episodes because I'll be like, I want to be a completist and get this done and out of the way. Music, slamming. Animation, it's MAPPA, so it's fairly good. CGI is definitely used in this, and oddly, the CGI with the cars are a little bit clunky so far. I don't know if this gets better further on, but in the first 3 episodes, it's a little clunky. But otherwise, the animation is typical MAPPA quality. Like I said, the music is killer. It's just that the story is just not grabbing. It's very tropey. Like, I keep saying, it's Spike, it's Spike, it's Spike. And everyone's just like, no, 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 no. Look at the show as if it were not Cowboy Bebop, but it has Cowboy Bebop elements to it. Yeah, it's Cowboy Bebop, okay? They're trying to make a Cowboy Bebop without being Cowboy Bebop, and it's not really working in certain aspects. You have your Faye Valentine, you have your Jet, you have your Edward, you have Spike. You have a couple other characters maybe to differentiate things up. You have jazz playing in the background, really good music playing, just like Cowboy Bebop. This is an iteration of Cowboy Bebop. It's not set in that universe. It's not, I don't think. It's not, obviously it's the moon is still there. It hasn't blown up or anything like that. So, and there's no bounty of the day. It's just the one story, but it has so much Bebop vibes to it. But even then, that doesn't make it interesting. And I think that's the big failure here, is that this is one big trope, and it's not really imaginative, unfortunately. With Samurai Champloo from Watanabe, we had this like cross-reference between past, current. We have hip-hop music playing in there. We have two really interesting characters that are representing historical Japan, the new, the newer ideal of what it means to be a Japanese samurai versus the old, and this very interesting stuff. Of course, Bebop. My God, Bebop, right? And so it's just, seeing this thing is a little bit disappointing, and it's gotten favorable reviews, by the way. So I just want to throw that out there. The people do like it, and it does get good ratings. And I suspect that maybe there's a payoff 3/4 of the way through that makes us really like the anime at that point. We're just not there yet in episodes 1 through 3. So, and interestingly, I read in one of the things that I was making notes about was that there was a reviewer who basically said the first 5 episodes really aren't that good. And then after that, it gets better, but this is overall a very disappointing outing for Watanabe. And I agree thus far. For all I know, episode 4 could be banger, and it just shoots off from there. But the first 3 episodes is not wowing me. And I'm not inclined to go out of my way to finish this in a binge fashion. So I'm sure I will finish this because I actually really do like the music. I'm getting the soundtrack, by the way. So there is that. If you find it on Spotify or whatever, please listen to it. It is so good. It is really, really good. But if you want to watch it, I think it's okay if you want to watch it. Nobody's going to look down on you for watching this and having interest in it. It just didn't grab me that hard, and eventually, like I said, I'll finish it. It's good enough, but it's not the quality of Watanabe that we are used to, I think. So there you go. This a disappointing review. Not a bad review of Lazarus. I think it's watchable, but it is not. This is not on the level of his other stuff, and that's a shame because he's really good. He's really good. But check out the soundtrack. All right, so that was the review for Lazarus, disappointing as it was. But if you want to watch it, go ahead. Let me know what you if you watch it all the way through. Don't spoil it for us, but let us know if you actually liked it or not, or if you were kind of mediocre on it, or if maybe you might be going, dude, you gotta push on until episode whatever, and it picks up. Just let us know down below. But yeah, that's going to be it for the review. And again, if you're going to Gen Con, I have the event IDs down below for the Guns of Tanegashima and the Cowboy Bebop OST1 album thing that I'll be talking about, a panel. So if you're going to Gen Con and you want to come by and see my panels, please do. There you go. And as always, take care of yourselves because I love you guys and I want to see you out somewhere in the world. It's kind of fun to run into you all out there and have a nice conversation. So be good to yourselves, be healthy, do what you got to do to stay healthy, because again, I love you guys and I want to see you out there. And so with that, I will end it as I have been ending these shows lately with the following recommendation. Watch more anime.